Hello mathematicians, here is the video for Home Connections page 1 and page 2, and you can do the homework all on your own and then watch the video. At the end I'll scroll through all of the answers. If you get something wrong, you can go back to that part of the video. You also can watch the video while you're doing your homework. Just make sure you pause it and give yourself a chance to think on your own, then press play and see if you got it right. So make sure that brain's doing some thinking. Okay, number 1, it says fill in the blanks in the number lines. Notice that each jump is worth 16. So if we do another jump, that's another group of 16. And 16 and 16 put together is 32. Okay. Now, the next jump, you can tell, is twice as big. So instead of jumping another 16, we're jumping another 32. See how it's the same size as 8 times 4? So we're going to add another 32. So we're at 32. We're making a nice big jump of 32. For a final answer of 64. Okay, letter B. Looks like we're jumping by 32 this time. All right, number lines are my favorite for time problems. So if you're feeling a little confused by this number line, that's okay. But just notice the size of the jumps and how if something's twice as big, 8 times 8 is twice as big as 4 times 8. All right, so each jump is worth 32. So this next jump would also be 32, which is a total of 64, okay? And this next jump is twice as big. Notice that it's the same size as this, 8 times 8. So we're jumping from 64, and we're jumping another group of 64 for a final answer of 128. All right, number 2, complete the facts. And by the end of the year, I bet you're going to know more of these than you know now, which is so great. All right. Trying to focus here. There we go. Okay. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 8, will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? 8 times 10 is 80. 8 times 9 is 72. 7 times 10 is 70. And 7 times 9 is 63. All right, number 3, Roger's little brother Saul wants to know if 5 times 7 is the same as 7 times 5. He is right. That little brother is correct. They are the same. That's called the commutative property, where you can flip the order and it's still the same amount. So if you were Roger, what would you say? You might say something like 7 times 5 equals 35, and 5 times 7 equals 35. Okay. You also could explain it with a picture, which kids love that. So if you had 7 times 5, you could do 7 in each row, and you could do 5 rows. And of course, how many dots would we have? We would have 35 dots. Okay, and you could show that that equals 35. But you could also draw it differently, and you could do 5 in each row, but make 7 rows. And the pictures are just going to kind of look turned. But no matter how you do it, 7 rows of 5 or 5 rows of 7, no matter what, it equals 35. So this is sort of a visual way to show 5, 6, 7, that 5 times 7 is the same as 7 times 5. All right, on to page 2. Here we go. Number 4, each of the 29 students in Mr. Brown's 4th grade class has 2 notebooks. How many notebooks is that in all? Show an equation with an equal sign. Okay, my equation is going to be 29 times 2, Or 2 times 29, that commutative property tells us that we could flip them. And I like using a variable if I can. So I'm going to use n for notebook. And 29 times 2, I don't really know my facts of 29 very well. So for 29 times 2, I think I'm going to show my work with an addition problem. For a final answer of 58. 58 what? 58 notebooks. Got to label it. Beautiful. Number 5, each of the students in Ms. Smith's class has 3 pocket folders. Ms. Smith wrote a multiplication equation to compare the number of students to the number of folders. So we've got 29 kids, and they each have 3 folders, giving us an answer of 87. Now, these options, we just have to pick the one that matches the equation. So it's sort of like we're going from numbers to words. So which words match this equation with the numbers? 87 folders, that's 3 more than 29. When I see 3 more, that makes me think addition. 87 folders is 3 times as many. There it is. The second one, but let's read that last one. 29 folders is 3 times as many as 87 folders. Well, 29 is not 3 times as big as 87. 87 is 3 times as big as 29. So the second one is correct. So we're just picking the sentence that matches that equation. All right, number 6. We got a lot going on here. I had to read it a few times. There are 5 stacks of crayon boxes, and there's 8 in each stack, okay? So 5 times 8 is 40. That means there's 40 crayon boxes for that first part. The second part says there are 10 stacks with 8 boxes in each stack, so that's 80 boxes, okay? And all together, let's figure out how many boxes that is. I'm going to add those two together. Okay, for 120 boxes. So I think I would do all of that work first and then come up with my equation. So it says each box holds 10 crayons. Well, there's 120 boxes, and they each hold 10 crayons. So my equation, equal sign, is I'm going to take 120 boxes, and there are 10 crayons each. And I'm going to write a variable down. And I know that 120 times 10, a lot of times people think, let's just add a 0. So let's add a 0 to 120 for a final answer of 1,200 crayons. All right, let me show you the answers. So here is page 1. And here is page 2. All right, mathematicians, great job.